Great. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Finance Committee meeting on November the 12th. I'm Cynthia Higgins, and I'm taking over for our board chair, Rebecca Barley. And I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are privileged to meet on the unceded and the ancestral territories of the Squamish and the St'át'imc Nation. We have an agenda recommendation.
That the agenda of this meeting be approved.
Thank you, Melissa. And a seconder? Thank you, Rachel. That brings us to the minutes, and we have a recommendation for those minutes.
That the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on October 8th, 2025 be adopted.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And seconder? Thank you, Rachel. Fantastic. That brings us right down to item 6, which is our first of 2 discussion items today. The first being our quarterly financial report. And I'm going to hand that over to Elena. Thank you so much.
Let me share the screen.
Do I introduce you?
Yes, please.
While she's going to stop.
Okay, so Elena is our finance director here, and she's going to be presenting our 25-26 first quarter end financial report. And this report includes revenues and expenses for July, August, and September of 2025. And I'm going to just ask her to go through some financial highlights for the board.
Thank you, Danielle. The report covers 3 months, first quarter of 25-26 school year. It was submitted on October 6th, was due October 6th to the ministry, and it was discussed on an admin council as well. And the structure of the summary is the same as like we had for a few iterations already. It has revenue side and expenditure side, and also broken into 3 funds: operating, special purpose fund, and capital. And comparison is made to current year annual budget and as percentage of it, and as well to the same period of annual budget of prior year, just to see how we are doing it year over year. The budget that we compare to is annual budget, because amended budget will be adopted in February. So the percentage on the right columns for each year shows how much of a first quarter as a percentage of the total annual budget for this line item, as well as for the total revenue and total expenses. And as we can see, if you look at separately an operating fund, which is the fund to cover our regular expenses, like for instructions, transportation, custodian services, the provincial grants that is based on enrollment of resident students is 7.5 million. And the next line item is learning educational agreement with Lillooet Nation that we have already year number 3 of this agreement, I believe. It's 599,000. Which reflects the schedule of a payment. First payment is due September 30th, and it's 50% of the total agreement amount. And there will be 2 more payments in January and in June. So it doesn't show 50 exactly percent, but a little bit over, because our amended budget will have different amount of local education agreement. International tuition fee has 183,000. It's lower than we had last year. We had less in our annual budget or preliminary budget. We had less FTE of international students, and amended budget will have probably even less than that. Currently, we are sitting at 131 131.9 FTE of international students, and annual budget had 138 students. Other fees and contributions, 583. These includes non-deferred portion of school-generated funds, sitting in school bank accounts, and some other miscellaneous fees. Rental and leases, 165,000, and we are watching this amount may change in the amended budget because it keeps changing. Last year it was a little bit lower than we budgeted, so we don't want to inflate our revenue, so we want to be conservative on this side. But for now, we have 470 budgeted. And it's 35% right now of annual budget, so which means that if trend continues, we may budget a little bit higher on amended. Investment income is 86,000, and this budget line item has been decreasing over last 3-4 years because of rate decrease of the Ministry of Finance, that where we keep our deposits. Amortization of deferred, that doesn't belong to operating. So expenditures in operating fund includes salaries, wages, and benefits, and supplies and services. So 7.8 million and 2.6 million, and the total expenses for operating fund was 10.5 million, bringing us to 1.3 million deficit, which is fully covered by the use of accumulated operating surplus. So about salaries and wages, I just wanted to mention that also the district did adjust up the benefits reflecting the rising cost of carriers, providers of the extended benefits. But the rates for unionized staff are still being negotiated and will be back paid, retro paid later when negotiation is over, and will be funded through labor settlement fund. Special purpose fund includes funds such as Classroom Enhancement Fund, Community Link, Ready Set Learn, and many others. And as you know, it's earmarked for those specific purposes. The revenue of this fund is matched to the expenses when incurred, and that's why the surplus deficit is 0. Capital fund is the only fund that is, according to accounting standards, allowed to have deficit, and the deficit comes from the difference between a revenue, which is amortization of deferred capital revenue, and expenses, which are amortization of fixed assets. So currently we have 125,000 deficit in this fund, bringing us to the total 11.5 million, which is 13.5% of annual budget. And total expenses are 13 million, or 14.9% of annual budget. We are very close, we compare very close to the same period of last year, 13.6% and 15.2%. And the percentage of expenses are always a little bit higher than revenues because of schedule of payments doesn't match schedule of expenses. We have a lot of expenses in summer when custodians and facilities are preparing for school opening. Is all the appropriation of accumulated operating surplus and transfer to local capital. Currently in annual budget, we plan 100,000 to purchase from operating fund of capital assets. We are sitting at 137,000 surplus in operating fund and 25,000 deficit in capital fund, or 112,000 surplus, which is higher than the budgeted in annual budget. But again, it compares very closely to last year. Are there any questions? I finished the discussion unless you want to may expand on something.
Any questions?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Rachel.
The expenditures are slightly lower than last year at this point. Does this reflect, excuse me, timing differences or a deliberate effort to contain costs early in the year?
Expenses are lower this year
Yeah, slightly.
because we spent more from the special purpose funds. The total is 13 million, and last year, the same period was 12.6 million. The operating, I don't have unfortunately breakdown of the same period of last year for operating special purpose fund and capital. So most likely that we spent more special purpose funds this year comparing to last year.
I'll just add to that. So, when we look at because I think you're referring to, Rachel, that the first quarter is 14.9
Yeah.
versus 15.2.
yeah.
But yeah, as Elena said, the amount actually that we spent is higher because it's 13,
Oh, I see.
13.
Mhm.
And then last year we spent 12.6.
Mm.
So I just want to mention to everybody that we don't have any like very small amounts of salary increases in the first quarter. There could just be some small amounts of step increases for teachers if they like got additional education or something like that. They might have moved up a grid. So just to show you that the expenses have increased, even though we don't have extra funding to pay for that. So the expenses actually are higher than last year so far.
Yeah, that's right. The annual budget this year, 87 million, and last year, 82 million. So that's why percentages are different. Yeah, different.
Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any questions. And then I think I just have a comment. Is it safe to say when you break it down into the percentages, like accounting in its simplest form, you would have like 25% to spend in each quarter. And if you're spending 14% or 15%, then that I feel like that it makes it pretty safe to say that you're well within the budget and that.
Not quite. Depends what kind of expenses you're talking about. If it's something directly related or to, like, for instance, learning resources that are spent as school goes, and that would be 10%. It should be 10% because only 1 out of 10 months of school months, like schools like in session. But July and August, something that happens regardless school in session or not, that would be 1/12 of the year. So, but this is combined everything together. So that's why it's hard to say. So it shouldn't be 25%. Otherwise, because biggest expenses are coming from instructions that are tied to 10 months, not the 12 months.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So that sort of accounts for why it says only 13% of the budget is spent because it was July and August, which you wouldn't have some of your bigger expenses. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. I will then stop sharing. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for your presentation. Okay. That's terrific. I don't think if there's any other questions or Lisa, where are you? There you are. Lisa, you're okay? Okay, terrific. Then we'll move on to item 6B, which is the budget survey update, and I'll hand that over to you, Danielle.
Thanks. Just a quick update for everybody. The budget survey went out on October 28th, 2025 for feedback, and it's open until November 28th, 2025. If you have not completed the survey yet, please do so. I have included the link in the agenda, so the public and trustees or whoever would like to is welcome to go ahead and complete that. We want to hear from you. Your feedback will help us make decisions about the future decisions about how our budgeting will go. As of, I just got an update today. I think we're at 240 responses. Let me just double check. Yeah, 240 responses, which is, I think, pretty good.
Mhm.
And so far, we have not received any responses from students. So we are going to be, after today, we're going to be working with schools to increase student participation.
Oh, nice.
And then once the survey closes, we're going to be using that feedback and organize it into themes. And then we'll be sharing that out with our partner groups and our rights holders. And then the survey results will be used, they'll be prioritized at the school district partner group meeting and rights holder meeting, which will be in February 2026. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for that update. I think that's 240 is a really great number to get us started with. It'd be nice to hear from some more students. And if there is any public listening, I'd really encourage people to take the opportunity to fill out the survey. I know that the partner group meeting and the information that we receive from this survey is really taken to heart, and really does drive the changes that are made in our school district. And so it's a really valuable opportunity for people to have a chance to offer their input. So anyhow, thank you for the update. And if there's any other questions, I'll open that up right now.
I'm assuming it's on the website, on the
Yeah,
homepage.
sure where it used to be like pop up right on the first
Yeah.
page, but I looked for that and I'm not sure where it is now. So I'll have to check with Jen where if it was moved.
Sure.
But yeah, it used to be like really very easy to find, but I wasn't able to find it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if we could put it on the first page like before, that'd be great.
Yeah. There is like a lot of surveys and stuff, so I'll just check and see if there's any questions. Any questions from the public?
Nothing? Okay, Danielle just did a quick check to see if we had any questions of clarification from the public. It's seeing none. And being that we've completed all of the work that is attached to the agenda, I will call this meeting adjourned. We can log off this meeting and meet back in the policy committee meeting at 2:00.